Of course. My corner, going into the championship rounds, they just kept yelling at me, "You got to close the show. You got to win the championship rounds, because they're not gonna give it to you. You got to win the championship rounds." Because it was one round where I dominated in the scorecards. They gave it to Canelo, and that just changed the whole mentality of the fight. They was just like, all right, you got to go out there and win these rounds. You got to go out
The
there.
night wasn't just about Crawford defeating Canelo. It was a battle for survival against the judges, too. In a startling revelation, Crawford claimed that even during his dominant performance, the scorecards told a different story, one that nearly robbed him of victory. His coach, Bernie, felt the tension from the opening bell. First round, they say everybody was worried, like, "You see they're trying to steal it from us, right? With the 115 to 113, right? They're trying to steal it," Bernie recalled. His words reflected the unease in Crawford's corner, a sense that they were fighting not just Canelo, but also the numbers flashing across the judges' cards. The bout became more than just a physical contest. It became a fight to protect Crawford's legacy from being quietly taken away. Every round became a test of will, not only for Crawford, but for everyone standing behind him. In that moment, the fear of a robbery felt as real as the punches exchanged in the ring. Bernie didn't hold back, making it clear just how worried the team was about seeing the fight slip through their fingers.
Just give it to him. So we had to. Bud came straight out. Did you see how he went out there and started? Went straight to him, set the tone.
Right away.
Oh, God.
He never chased him. He never chased him around the ring.
No, Crawford never ran.
No.
Those words revealed the raw truth of a corner battling more than just an opponent. They were fighting the system itself. Crawford's team knew that one questionable scorecard could erase everything he had worked for. That fear ignited a fire in Crawford, pushing him to take control of the ring with undeniable authority. Every moment became a statement. He refused to let his fate rest in the judges' hands. In the midst of doubt and pressure, Crawford delivered a performance that defined his legacy. Even respected trainer Robert Garcia weighed in, highlighting the flaws Canelo brought into the fight. His analysis hinted at a deeper reality, that without the judges' support, Canelo's style alone wouldn't have been enough to win.
Fights, enough just to get the win, or maybe the judges to give him the win. Throws one punch at a time, so one punch at a time. Looks for just that one part. He opens up. That hook he was throwing over and over. Reaching in with that hook, keeping his chin up, his right hand down. There's a lot of things that you can't do over and over if you have a good game plan, if you have somebody giving you the right instructions. You can't do it over and over for 4 fights. There's got to be.
Garcia's words painted a clear picture. Canelo wasn't dominating. He was relying on familiar habits and counting on the scorecards to fill in the gaps. It seemed as if the system was designed to protect him, round after round. But Crawford's sharp adjustments shattered that illusion, leaving no room for doubt, neither for the opponent in front of him nor the judges behind him. Bud proved that the truth couldn't be stolen. Robert Garcia also acknowledged Crawford's exceptional discipline and determination, noting how the doubt surrounding him only pushed him to train harder and exceed expectations.
Very disciplined fighter also. He's healthy, and a lot of people were saying, oh, well, he hasn't fought, or he didn't look too good against Madrimov at 154. How can he look good? He's a talented fighter, and that challenge for him pushed him even harder to train harder and to be better. That challenge, went up against Canelo, moving up 2 divisions, hearing that people are saying, oh, he didn't look too good against Madrimov, so how could he look good at 68? Well, that motivated more, man. He trained hard.
That moment exposed the true drive fueling Crawford's performance. He wasn't just battling Canelo, he was on a mission to silence every critic who ever doubted him. The challenge of moving up in weight didn't weaken him. It became his greatest advantage. What many expected to break him instead forged him into something unstoppable. When fight night came, that fire made it impossible for the judges to overlook his dominance. Garcia then shifted focus to Canelo's camp, discussing the business decisions and preparation behind the scenes, subtly pointing out flaws in their strategy that may have given Crawford the perfect opening.
And that's what they're all about, the business. I don't know if I don't think they took the fight lightly because they couldn't have, but because Canelo, from what I hear, is very disciplined, trains very hard. But I think when it came to the game plan or
This perspective brought a deeper layer to the story. Canelo's discipline was undeniable, but discipline without the right strategy can only go so far. The fight revealed how much was at stake beyond the ring. Politics, money, and reputation all played their part. Yet, despite all that power and pressure behind Canelo, Crawford completely rewrote the narrative. Teddy Atlas, reflecting on the matchup, didn't mince words. He admitted that from the moment the fight was announced, he knew just how dangerous and unpredictable this clash would be.
Like I was on the right side. I felt the way Crawford felt. What people ask me, Teddy, when did you know? When were you were so sure he was going to win this fight? You were saying it, a year ago or more. When did you know that he was going to win this fight, that there was no one else?
Atlas's words carried the kind of certainty that only comes from a seasoned veteran. He wasn't simply predicting Crawford's victory. He was warning that the judges might turn the fight into another nightmare. Memories of past controversial decisions loomed large, pushing Crawford to make sure there was no room for doubt. It was all or nothing, pure dominance or total disaster, and Atlas sensed that from the very beginning. Each round felt heavy with history, and by the final bell, Crawford's commanding performance proved Atlas right, erasing every doubt. When the fight ended, Atlas broke it down with unflinching honesty, admitting what everyone could see. Crawford's control was so complete that Canelo was left with almost nothing to claim.
You said nobody can win this fight, only one guy, and he's going to win it convincingly, easily. When did you know that? And I'm gonna say what I really mean, but also what I understand Crawford said. But I said it myself before. I knew when he signed the contract. when he signed the contract, I knew that Canelo was making a mistake. That he had no idea, like he didn't have an idea what Beaver was. He had no idea. And unfortunately, the judges did the same thing they did in the Beaver fight. They scared the crap out of us. They made us realize they were going to rob him if he didn't destroy him, if he didn't dominate. Dominate!
Atlas's words carried the kind of certainty that only comes from a seasoned veteran. He wasn't simply predicting Crawford's victory. He was warning that the judges might turn the fight into another nightmare. Memories of past controversial decisions loomed large, pushing Crawford to make sure there was no room for doubt. It was all or nothing, pure dominance or total disaster, and Atlas sensed that from the very beginning. Each round felt heavy with history, and by the final bell, Crawford's commanding performance proved Atlas right, erasing every doubt. When the fight ended, Atlas broke it down with unflinching honesty, admitting what everyone could see. Crawford's control was so complete that Canelo was left with almost nothing to claim.
I'm being honest. I'm being a professional. He won maybe. And if you want to make it a shutout, I wouldn't say you were crazy. Because I don't think I'm crazy. Just a little bit angry sometimes. Because of my sport that I love. That if he doesn't dominate the way he did, they're going to give it to Canelo. The way that one judge tried to make it a close fight against Mayweather many years ago? Are you kidding? The way the Beaver people... In the Beaver fight, I thought Beaver won 10 rounds. They they tried to do the same thing. 115, 113? Are you kidding me? Maybe they just don't understand math. Maybe they think that I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they think 115 is 119. Maybe, it's different kinds of, numeral, the way they came up with the numerals.
Atlas's explanation portrayed Crawford as a rare force in modern boxing, a fighter unlike the rest. While others followed predictable patterns, Crawford brought depth, layers, and unpredictable angles that left his opponents confused and outmatched. Atlas emphasized that this wasn't a risky prediction. It was pure certainty. He recognized in Crawford a set of qualities so undeniable that no judge could ignore them, no matter how hard they tried. His confidence wasn't blind hype but the insight of a trainer who had witnessed champions rise and fall. To Atlas, Crawford wasn't just another contender, he was the future unfolding before everyone's eyes. When comparing Canelo and Crawford, Atlas remained fair yet firm, showing respect to Canelo while clearly pointing out the defining difference between the two.
The day before. And, I said, I like Crawford, like I said, when his contract was signed, when it was fair, and then he was a bigger favorite. He was a big underdog. He was a bigger underdog. He was 2-1 at one point, if I remember
That's
correctly.
Correct. And it closed at closer to plus 135, plus 140.
Yeah. Once people knew who I was picking. I'm kidding. But I was telling Stephen A. Smith, he said, Teddy, why do you like him so much? I said, why do you like 3D TV more than regular TV? Because it's 3D! Because it's got more dimensions to it. Why do you like digital better than Betamax? I still use Betamax. I gotta tell you, I still got a fax machine, Rich. I do. I got a fax machine. I'm old-fashioned. What are you gonna do? But you remember VHS, VHR, whatever it's called, right? All that stuff. Betamax, and then it went to digital. I was the last guy at ESPN, the whole campus, that still got sent VCR tapes. They had to send them to me. I had a cassette player. I put them in. I didn't know how to do digital, but digital, it's the way to go, babe. It's the way of the future. It's faster. It's quicker, right? You got all that stuff in the air. Going through the air.
Atlas's words reflected the perspective of a man who truly recognizes greatness. Canelo was undeniably strong, skilled, and experienced, but there was a limit to his style. Crawford, however, operated on an entirely different level, like a digital fighter in a world still running on analog. That gap made all the difference. Regardless of what the judges might have thought, Crawford had completely set himself apart, making any chance of a robbery meaningless. It was the kind of separation that elevates a great fighter into an untouchable legend. Demetrius Andrade later shared his own view of the fight, admitting that his first impressions changed as the rounds progressed, and what he observed explained exactly how Crawford managed to seize control in ways few had anticipated.
He's a solid guy. His technique, his basics are solid. His fundamentals are solid. He's strong, he's physical, he's moved up and become, solid at a heavier weight than when he started in his career. He's grown into it. He's got great experience. All of that. He's a good, solid guy. I'm not knocking him. In the old days, that was the greatest compliment that the people in my business could give you. Guy's a solid guy. He can fit in with anyone. He knows how to fight. He's a solid guy. But he's not digital. There's only a few guys.
Andrade's reflection captured the same surprise many fans felt while watching the fight unfold. At first, Canelo's size and power seemed to give him the upper hand, but Crawford's reach and skill quickly turned the tables. Andrade noted how the momentum shifted the moment Bud proved he could handle the pressure. What began with doubt ended in pure admiration, transforming the narrative from a potential robbery to one of absolute dominance. He also praised Crawford's brilliant strategy, emphasizing the perfect mix of patience, timing, and toughness that defined Bud's performance from the opening bell to the final round.
In a later round, and if Tevin can take them shots, he'll be able to, pretty much outwork and move, and be able to, hit him with some counter shots. And pretty much that's what it was. At first I didn't know if he was be able to take the heavier shots, but then I realized, Canelo, yeah, he's a big guy, but he's not really a big guy when it comes to somebody like a Terrence who's has reach, has length, in that aspect, and that could put on the size, and also can box. And he did a great job. When you watched it, he did a great job. He kept with a great strategy.
Andrade's breakdown revealed exactly why Crawford appeared untouchable against one of boxing's biggest stars. His dominance wasn't built on reckless offense but on precise control, paired with perfectly timed bursts of aggression. Andrade observed how Crawford stood firm, blending defense and attack seamlessly while forcing Canelo out of his comfort zone. It was a masterclass performance that left no room for excuses on the scorecards, proving that true greatness is forged from both skill and will. He also questioned whether Canelo's power was ever as threatening as many believed, adding yet another intriguing layer to the post-fight conversation.
Moving when he needed to move, and those moments where he needed to make him count, he made him count because he was able to, because the southpaw, the combinations when he had the chance to let them things go, he did that. He held his ground. He showed that he can get underneath, clinch, hold, and show that he also has the will and power to, keep his ground. So man, he did a great job fighting.
By downplaying Canelo's supposed punching power, Andrade redirected the spotlight toward Crawford's composure and control. If Canelo's danger wasn't as real as many claimed, then what truly kept the fight close on the scorecards? His words hinted at a harsh truth fans had long suspected. It wasn't Canelo's fists that posed the greatest threat, but the judges themselves. Seen through that lens, Crawford's dominance became even more remarkable. Andrade's observations made it clear that this time, the system couldn't protect Canelo. Spencer Oliver later offered his own perspective, stating that the outcome didn't surprise him at all. In fact, he explained that the fight unfolded almost exactly as he and others had predicted from the start.
I don't think Canelo's the hardest hitting puncher out there. My damn self. Like at the end of the day, yeah, everybody can, knock somebody down or, get knockouts, but we haven't seen Canelo really put people out consistently like a Triple G, you know what I'm saying? Or like a Dimitri Beterbiev. Like it ain't that type of situation. But I wasn't. He probably did. He probably did fight somebody that hits a little hard.
Oliver's words carried the weight of someone who had recognized Crawford's greatness long before the opening bell. Every doubt about Crawford's power, size, and control was answered in real time, exactly as he had predicted. What impressed him most was Crawford's ability to silence every question with sheer skill and composure. This wasn't luck or coincidence, it was pure mastery on display. For Oliver, the fight proved that Canelo's perceived advantages were never enough to alter the inevitable outcome. Duke McKenzie then offered his own analysis, sharply breaking down how Canelo's style ultimately played right into Crawford's hands. He explained that as long as Bud remained disciplined, the matchup was always bound to favor him.
Before it happened.
Absolutely.
Because that's the way it went.
In the presence of genius, you don't even know it.
Absolutely. We actually called it. We said, look, listen, that Terence Crawford would build up an early lead, and when he had to bite down, when he had to do it, that ninth round especially, he stood there and showed that he could trade with him and he could take the shots and he could mix it. And the difference between the two was, like we said, Duke, was the combination punching, the ring control from Terence Crawford. They were all the question marks. Could he do that? Could he cope with the power of Canelo Alvarez, who's adapted now and had to adjust in his career? He now throws single shots, and that's why it was the calculated gamble. Well, it wasn't really a gamble because me and Simon called it from the beginning. That we go, Mayweather ticks every department. You go, the only thing that people are hedging their bets on is that Canelo's the bigger guy, but he wasn't really any.
Mackenzie's analysis revealed exactly how Crawford dismantled Canelo, round by round. His patience in the early stages was calculated, a setup designed to lure Canelo into frustration and costly mistakes. By the later rounds, the shift in momentum was undeniable. What initially appeared to be a cautious approach evolved into complete dominance as Crawford unleashed fluid, precise combinations. To Mackenzie, it was clear evidence that the right style and strategy can expose even the sport's biggest stars. Adam Smith also weighed in, admitting that he had always favored Crawford in this matchup. His only concern wasn't the fight itself, but the judges, a reminder of how close boxing still sits to the edge of controversy.
Styles make fights. In Canelo's style, this style of Canelo was suited for Crawford. He can't throw combinations anymore. There's no more head movement from Canelo. He tries to walk people down and hit you all over the body and all over the head if he can, but he can't put his combination. He can't sustain the combinations. And what really impressed me about Crawford was the fact that It was a question of like, he didn't want to trade off early with Canelo, he traded late with Canelo because he couldn't take his power early. So in the early rounds, he was just pity-patting and just tapping him, kept spinning him, kept turning him and driving him mad. And then in the later rounds, as Canelo started to fade, from round 7, round 8, as the pace got a little bit slower, then Crawford's confidence, he was confident enough within himself to stand and trade with him. And even when he got on inside, he was hitting him with like 3s and 4s, hard shots, constant shots. He just kept spinning him, kept turning him, and Canelo didn't really know where he was. And another great thing about Crawford, he stayed southpaw throughout the whole fight, and Canelo admitted after that he couldn't handle a southpaw.
Couldn't work it out.
Smith pointed to the shocking AI scoring as proof of how easily narratives in boxing can be distorted beyond belief. For him, this fight wasn't just a win, it was Crawford seizing control of the moment in spite of every outside influence. His intelligence, southpaw rhythm, and unshakable composure told the real story. It was such a decisive performance that even the tight Vegas scorecards couldn't alter its truth. Smith made it clear that greatness had just been confirmed under the brightest lights. He went on to put Crawford's victory into perspective, describing it not only as a triumph in the ring but as a defining moment that introduced Bud's brilliance to the wider world, a night that would forever strengthen his legacy.
I thought it was a dominant performance.
Did you see the AI scoring, by the way? They scored it a draw.
Unbelievable. I mean, that is just
preposterous.
Yeah, ridiculous. So, was it a great fight? I mean, it was a great occasion. It was a magnificent 12 rounds, but as a great fight, no.
Never
was it
got a light,
great performance? Yes. Terence Crawford did exactly what he needed to do. I knew within 30 seconds of the fight that he felt comfortable. It was all about whether he'd get into that rhythm, utilise that southpaw advantage. He has the IQ, the ring generalship, and Canelo...
For Smith, this moment went beyond the boxing world. It was about mainstream recognition. Crawford had spent years being overlooked, standing in the shadow of bigger names and flashier brands. But on this night, streamed to millions of viewers around the world, he commanded the spotlight and refused to let it go. It didn't feel like just another fight. It felt like the night Crawford's name became truly global. In Smith's view, it marked the beginning of a new chapter not only for Crawford but for the sport itself. Billy Nelson, who had witnessed Crawford's rise up close from the very start, offered one of the strongest praises of the night. His words carried the conviction of someone who had seen Bud's greatness long before the rest of the world caught on.
Anything away from Terence Crawford. This was his coming out party on Netflix, and people don't know Terence Crawford if you walk down the streets. They know a bit about Canelo, and they know obviously the Furies, the Joshuas, but this was his moment, and I always felt...
Were you surprised about his outburst?
Nelson's reflection went far beyond simple admiration. It was conviction shaped by years of experience. He spoke of Crawford's flawless balance, his mastery of both stances, and his unmatched ability to control every moment inside the ring. To Nelson, Bud wasn't just an elite fighter. He was performing on a level few in boxing history have ever reached. His words carried the kind of authority that made fans reconsider where Crawford truly stands among the legends. And coming from a respected trainer, his praise hit harder than any punch thrown that night. Even Crawford himself spoke with the calm confidence of a man who already knew the outcome, having laid out exactly how the fight would unfold long before the first bell rang.
The only grievance I've got with Crawford is I get sacked after the Crawford fight and lose his first fight. Ricky Burns is his first loss for me in 23 fights. So I wasn't too pleased, but Crawford is a fantastic fighter. I mean, both stances, his balance is fantastic. His shot selection, both stances, excellent. Just a class above. He's just a class above. I think he's one of the best, if not, and this might not go down well with a lot of people, I think.
Crawford's vision went beyond confidence. It felt almost prophetic. He had already mapped out the switches, the adjustments, and the readiness to meet Canelo anywhere in the ring. This wasn't a fighter hoping to rise to the occasion. It was a man determined to control every moment from every angle. That mindset turned the weight of history into fuel for dominance. And when the fight unfolded, it played out exactly as he had predicted. Terence Crawford didn't just defeat Canelo, he dismantled the system many believed was built to protect him. The judges may have tried to keep the score close, but Crawford's performance was so commanding that even controversy couldn't touch it. Now, the real question is yours to answer. Do you think the judges truly tried to rob Crawford? Was this the night he proved himself as the best fighter of this era? And what does this mean for Canelo's legacy moving forward? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns like this, because the story of boxing is only getting more thrilling.